Insider presents Geek Speak with Matthew Harris and Meredith Lachlan. We cover entertainment, news, and tech with special guest appearances. So sit back and enjoy as we geek out together right now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Geek Speak with Matthew Harris and Meredith Lachlan. Our guest today is a comic book creator, founding member of a comic book publisher, sequential art artist, and letterer. And if that isn't enough to keep him busy, he also serves as a pastor in his community. Please welcome Luke Stone.
Hey, hi. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on today. Looking forward to chatting about comics and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, Luke. So why don't you just take a minute to introduce yourself beyond my intro and let people know what you're working on, because you've got a lot of stuff.
I have a lot of irons in the fire. And so, yeah, as you said, I'm a full-time pastor here in Jacksonville, Florida. And so that keeps me pretty busy. But when I'm not doing that and trying to help the community as best I can, I'm making comic books. And so one of the biggest projects I'm working on now is along with Meredith and a few other people, we have founded a company called TERRAFORM Comics. And so, I do encourage people to go by terraformcomics.com and sign up for the mailing list. That's pretty cool. Also, right now, I'm the artist and kind of collaborator on a Kickstarter that is ending in just 2 days. I'm working with a guy named Travis Gibb on a book called Voodoo Nations. And so if you haven't heard about Voodoo Nations, then we must not have done a good enough job really kind of pimping that out there, because we have been sharing that like crazy all over Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. But I do encourage you to go by Voodoo Nations or go by Kickstarter, look up Voodoo Nations. We're the only one there, and check that out. There's just a 2 short days left, and we are so close to 250 backers. I mean, it would be really cool if we could hit that number. And if we hit the $5,000 mark, we're going to be adding a 4-page ash can that everybody gets in their package. So that'll be pretty cool too. Cool. Yeah. And then another really cool thing that I'm working on right now is I've been working on this series for a number of years called Hybrids, the Sons of Gods. And I just recently finished up issue 5. And so we just did a Kickstarter that was very successful for the first full arc of all 5 issues. But what we've done, what I've done is I've put all of those books together into a trade paperback, and I've added in the special like exclusive story that we had done before that we printed off just about 50 copies of. That's getting squeezed into the trade paperback. And I'm also squeezing in a post-credit scene, 4 pages that's never been published. Probably some of my best 4 pages I've ever done. Plus, we're creeping in a bunch of kind of insider information and stuff that we've, kind of backstory stuff and things that we don't normally get a chance to share inside of the comic. We're going to put that in the book, as well as even some backup stories, some 2-page backup stories that are going to be kind of humorous and funny for people. So that's what we got going on with right now. So that's quite a bit. So
now, Luke, you've said this a few times, and I've watched a few of your interviews. And for those who are not into comic books, what the hell is an ash can?
An ash can. Okay, so a long time ago, they used to just do up quick photocopies of just a few pages of a story to try to pitch to publishers and give out to fans and stuff like that when they were trying to sell their stuff. And basically, it got thrown in the ashtray, or the wastebasket, the ash can. So it's just an ash can. It's just a little throwaway comic. It's kind of evolved to be something a little bit more than that now, but that's kind of fun little history lesson on where that came from.
Well, I'm so glad you knew the answer, because that could have been embarrassing.
Here's the thing. I've been asked that before, and I didn't used to know the answer. So it was embarrassing. And whenever I don't like to be embarrassed. So whenever I'm embarrassed, I try my best to figure out. I at least want to present the illusion that I know what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah. My standard answer is, if I don't know anything, and that's quite a lot, is I'll get back to you.
Well, one thing that, back in the 90s, the ash cans, that's how I got turned on to a lot of different indie comics. It was that exact reason. They'd come from Diamond, and we'd open up the box with all the different comics, and there'd be a couple of ash cans in there. And that's really, I can't think of any of the titles right off the top of my head. I wish now I had those ash cans. Those things could probably be worth some money, because like you said, everyone threw them away.
They weren't intended to be collected. So ash cans really are kind of a neat thing now. And so they're yeah. If you could get into those old ones, I mean, they've been doing them for decades.
Right.
I mean, I guess 90s is decades, isn't it?
You hush now.
Well,
So now, Luke, you are a pastor. First and foremost, I know that comic books is a passion and something that you would love to do full time as long as it's paying the bills. But how did you start? I mean, like, what is this journey? I mean, first into becoming a pastor, and then I guess second, people don't usually tie comic books and being a servant of God
yeah.
together.
Yeah,
So it's kind of a strange thing. I think it's an
Yeah.
interesting story.
Especially not in the way that I do it. There's a lot of people out there that have faith in religion and they make comics, but they don't make the kind of comics I do. Like, they're very pointed. They've got a very, very strong purpose, and it's they usually don't come across as very cool, I guess. So yeah, I have always been into comics and drawing and things like that. And so as I actually was invited to church when I was 12, and so kind of my life journey towards faith kind of began then. I didn't really, at the moment, my family wasn't really involved with the faith and things like that, and so. But that kind of led me there. And then when I got into high school, I was volunteering for Youth for Christ and doing different things like that and helping out with youth groups. And as soon as I graduated, I got married. My wife and we were doing youth group stuff together. And at the time, I had kind of stopped doing comics, and I was doing a lot of guitar stuff. I was playing and singing in bands and stuff, traveling around, because there wasn't a lot of people in my town that really read comics all the time. And so there was a really huge Christian music scene. And so I was able to play out and express, myself artistically through music, and, also be able to kind of express my faith at the same time. And so
That's right. You also have a band.
yeah.
Or used to.
Well, we haven't played since the Great Pause. We're still on pause. So there's really nowhere to play right now, because there's no group, there's no big openings and stuff like that. And yeah, Luke Euler is a former youth member of one of the church that I was working at. And so, so ministry just kind of became a passion, and helping people kind of find that path that I followed. I really believe that, we should be leaving, the woodpile higher than we found it, and that kind of stuff. And so that just kind of led me, by doing youth ministry and doing music in church primarily, it led me to Jacksonville, Florida. When I got here, I was looking for a band to play with, and there was nothing. There was no music scene at all here for like kind of Christian groups and stuff like that. But shortly after I got here in October of 2014, and in November of 2014, early November, I found out that Jeremy Dale, who is the brother of a good friend of mine, Gary Dale, had passed away, and he was just 34 years old. He had been working in comics. He drew on G.I. Joe and worked for IDW, and had his own creator title called Skyward. And it was very good, very talented guy. And I'd always wanted to work in comics. I loved comics, always wanted to draw comics and things like that. But when he passed away, it shook me. It really kind of like got me to my core. It's like, I've always wanted to do that. And I've always been okay with the fact that I'm not doing it because someone in our group was, someone that we knew was. And so they were able to do that. And but it really got me. And so I couldn't find a band. And I was like, you know what? Well, forget it. I'm going to start drawing comics again. And so I buckled down and I come up with some ideas. I had some concepts I'd been working on wanting to do comics with. And periodically throughout that whole time, I was still like drawing from time to time. I would draw a comic and publish it. I don't really talk about those because they were really kind of crappy. But we had a pretty good solid, time where I would consistently draw on things like that. But really 2014 into 2014, beginning of 2015, I buckled down and I really started to work. I pitched out to a bunch of places trying to get, this book picked up. And eventually one of them said, hey, it's not for us, but we can tell you've got a certain tenacity about you that, you're going to make it happen. And I was like, tenacious. And so I started this company called Tenacious Comics. And the whole idea was like, hey, we keep getting rejected by all these people. Let's work together to try to make our books really good. And so we did that, ran that for a little bit. Things with church got kind of busy, and we had some issues that we had to that I had really took a lot of kind of full-time attention. I didn't really have time to draw as much. And I was going through my credentialing process and all that stuff. And we wound up having somebody else kind of take the helm for a minute, and then they kind of, embezzled some money and things like that and caused some problems. And so that company closed, and this little book that I had started messing with that really wasn't even my main title. It was kind of we needed some superhero type books, and it was like kind of superhero leaning. I had talked about the idea before in some of our kind of brainstorming sessions that we had. And they were like, you should write that book and make an issue for it when we release some stuff. And so I did that. I made this, as one of the first 3 or 4 titles that we had because we needed more books. And so I did this first issue, and I didn't think anyone was going to like it because, had to do with Nephilim, where angels were having babies with ladies, and how that tied into the Greek gods and ancient aliens and all these conspiracy theories. And I thought no one's going to like that stuff but me. And it turns out people really, really got into it. So I drew a second issue, and before the second issue could come out is when the company, when we had to close the doors because of that particular individual. Well, another company got a hold of me. This guy, Joe Spicer, got a hold of me, said, hey, I like that. I really think that picture's cool of that guy. What are you doing with it? And I'm like, nothing. And I really thought I was done with comics. I thought, wow, that was a pretty bad experience. I don't know that I'm going to keep doing this. And, but by their encouragement and stuff, I wound up releasing issue 1 and issue 2. I did no promotion whatsoever, guys, nothing. I did nothing for it. And one day, Joe's like, these are selling pretty good. Are you going to do a 3rd issue or something? I'm like, well, I've got it all written. So yeah, but I looked at the numbers and I'm like, wow, if I actually put some promotion behind this, I could probably do a pretty good job with it. And so I worked hard. In 2019, I released issues 3 and 4. And in 2020, I released issue 5. And then now obviously here we're doing the trade paperback for it. I've since left Starcross, no hard feelings to them. Love those guys. But I have now, now starting a publishing company. And the whole thing is I've been pastoring and doing ministry this whole time. And I always just wanted to write books that were entertaining and that also kind of had my Christian worldview in it, and maybe talked about some of the real life stuff that people deal with, but that wasn't so overtly like, I didn't want to write a Bible tract. We already had those. And, right. And in my opinion, a lot of Christian fiction is pretty lame, I get, everyone's like, oh, I can't believe you said that. But yeah,
I know you don't get into trouble for that.
I do, but I don't care. It's bad. I mean, start making good Christian fiction and I'll stop telling you it sucks. That's just the truth. And so I didn't want to make something that was just, the problem with a lot of that stuff is here, Meredith and Matthew, the M&M. Okay. That's what I'm going to call you guys. Okay. M&M, here's the deal. The problem with that is whenever anyone tries to be really, like they're really trying to they think they have to make a Christian comic book, what they do is they are putting out a message for people that don't know about faith. So they're putting out usually the gospel message.
Right.
But they're, so they have a message that's marketed to people that aren't believers, but everything else about it with the crosses and the angels and all of the, what I call Christianese and jargon and mumbo jumbo all leans towards a Christian audience. So I'm like, guys, you're messing up here. Like you're packaging it wrong. It's like, you don't, if you're selling something to a musician, you don't sell something to someone that it doesn't go to and package it wrong. That's basically what I, to say it that, to be nice. I'm trying to say, okay, what will not get me in trouble on this live stream? That's what I'm trying to think about right now. So, yeah, they just don't package it right. And so what I wanted to do was just write on the surface an entertaining story. Below the surface, I wanted to deal with the concepts of faith and loss and what people deal with those kind of things. I wanted to be more allegorical in my writing. I wanted to, kind of follow the example of a Tolkien or a Lewis, where they would, they would interject their faith and their viewpoints. And usually it was just this positive message of how can we make the world better and how can we rise above adversity and those kind of things. And it just so happens that they had faith, and they used the stories from their faith and their faith as a motivator. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do that. And I wanted to talk about real things and make it entertaining for people. So.
Well, we're going to take a real quick break. And when we get back, I want to talk a little bit about Voodoo Nations, because that just, I expect that there might have been some pushback being a man of faith, being a pastor, and then all of a sudden talking about voodoo. So we're going to be right back.
Sure.
Check it out. MobileEdge.com has award-winning products with innovative features and contemporary, edgy designs that empower you to look sharp and travel smart with your mobile tech. Your beloved, not to mention expensive gaming gear and mobile tech devices are an extension of you, so give them the protection and style they deserve wherever you go. Find them at MobileEdge.com and protect your tech with Mobile Edge. Bring it on. Hey Geek Insiders, Mobile Edge has a special coupon code for our dedicated listeners. Get 25% off your Mobile Edge gear using coupon code GEEK25. That's GEEK25. Geek out.
Real quick
right.
on that,
Yep.
Mobile Edge, I got word from our good friend Paul over there. They have added a whole new line of products, folks, because there's so many of us that are working from home now. Not a lot are heading out to gaming conventions and bouncing around all over the place with their games. And so they may not need the gaming backpacks and laptop cases, but they're now having a whole lot of new office related stuff, home office related stuff. Haven't had a chance to check it out, but I do know that I'm supposed to be having a care package with a bunch of it coming our way very soon.
Oh, goody.
Nice.
More giveaways.
Exactly.
So now, Luke, kind of segueing from, faith to
Sure.
Voodoo Nations. And I know that you can share your screen. And
I will do that right now.
Yeah, show your Kickstarter. And we're going to put that up here. The pushback on that, because a lot of people are like, voodoo, it's fascinating and it's scary to some people. For me, that makes a great story.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't gotten any pushback on it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. If anyone says that, they've got, I don't know. I haven't had not one person. And I think that I would probably get some pushback on that being a pastor.
Think so, right.
But no, I haven't. And maybe it's just the way that I pitch it. I just tell people this, it's kind of this, it's this dark suspense horror basically, but it's about these two young missionaries that just get their world turned upside down by this diabolically wicked Bishop Lucas. And he's got his own backstory, but he's kind of, if you would take Loki and Negan and smash them together.
Oh man. That's
what you get with this guy. So he's a really cool villain. And yeah, we focus a lot on voodoo, but we also focus on the, kind of this conflict with these local missionaries, and it's cool. I've gotten zero pushback on it. In fact, most people are like, oh, that sounds like a cool thing. Especially, like, I just had lunch with a missionary on Friday last week, and they were like, this sounds really neat, because they know what it's like going into these communities and having just the cultural clashes that you have. And I think, if anything, I think Christians will give us pushback once they read it, especially because it seems really hard on the church, and it kind of is. It's almost kind of a commentary that, we push a lot of resources, a lot of money and stuff at things, but we don't really prepare people for what they're going to be walking into when they go into a foreign place like that. Just because we're American doesn't mean we can do it better than they can, So it's
Right.
kind of a pushback on modern missions work and things like that. But it's not in such a way to where it's so offensive. I mean, and on the surface, it's just a good story, like anything else that you would read. It's a suspense horror, and we use kind of this religious conflict as the backdrop and the kind of the tension for the whole story. And Travis has done a great job writing it. Travis is really good at giving each individual character their own voice and their own personality. And that really shines in this script. his pitch, I think, for Broke Down is, a lot of violence, a lot of F words. There, none of that is in this book. It's not extremely violent. Again, you got to think there's enough violence for it to be be enough Negan, and but it's a lot of like that mental messing with you thing. And so,
Gotcha.
yeah.
That's the thing I love about horror and thrillers and things like this. It's like your imagination. If it's enough to tickle the imagination, it can go off into all different directions. You don't have to be a hammer for this.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the other thing is, so on the surface, so it's written with just kind of that enjoyment, but below the surface, we kind of peel away layers of an onion, basically. So like on the next layer, if you're familiar with some aspects of the church, a lot of the things that happen are taking place over Holy, like they start on Ash Wednesday, but then everything happens over Holy Weekend. So that, Good Friday to Easter Sunday. And you can see the mockery that's taking place in there. If you know that kind of stuff, you're like, oh, I totally get what he's doing there. Oh man, this dude is wicked, and you really get into that stuff. And then if you go even deeper into it, and you might be a person who has a lot of experience with faith and theology, then we actually have, Travis has kind of woven some of that into the sub stories, kind of the subplots that you see in there. It's almost allegorical, like this relates to this story and this can relates to that story, and it's really done well and really well crafted. And as you can see, we've got 4,065 for 4,653. We are funded, but at the 5,000 mark, we do the ash can.
50 pledges and hitting that 5,000 mark would be huge.
It would be so big for us because, well, number one, this is the most backed project either one of us have been a part of, as far as I know. And especially ones where it's kind of creator owned and it's all by our lonesome, so it's pretty big. But man, if we could hit that 250 backer mark, which really we're not very far away from it, what is that? 17 people?
Right.
Yeah.
17 people. If we could get 17 more people to come and back this project, then we will hit that number that we would really like to have. But not only that, we'll get us closer to the 5,000 mark. Now, here's the thing: at that 5,000 mark, everybody that gets a physical copy gets that ash can. So in that ash can, I'm telling you, it's really, really cool. I've got the script. I'm working on the art now. It just shows one more thing of the reason why Bishop Lucas is probably one of the worst villains you'll ever meet. He is he's so evil, guys. You just don't even understand. He is evil. And you want the ash can. You want that to happen. But, what else can I do to sell it? Oh, here's the other thing. It's $12 for a single issue, but it's also free shipping to the US. So, come on.
That's cool.
$12 shipped to your house in the US. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Now, I want to hear about the motivation because you are the second credit on this book as the artist. Mm-hmm. What was the motivation behind how you drew this villain? I love him. The first time I saw him, I was like, "Oh, he's bad.
He's bad, dude.
He's a bad dude." Yeah, and I love a good villain.
Yeah,
I love a good villain.
So the picture you're seeing now is actually Stan Yak's variant cover that he did for it. So let me get down into some of the art of the book. Okay. Oh, by the way, we're also Pops. You'll like this. We are doing a connecting cover with Mojo Rising. So you could actually get the connected cover. So any tier that is a collector's kit or above, or you can add $10 to your pledge to get an additional cover. You can get this cover, which is when you put the two books together, it makes this really cool picture. So you can kind of see that's our cover, and then that's our covers put together. So those aren't the actual print covers because there's a couple little edits that have been done to it, but that's pretty much it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people have drawn Bishop Lucas. He seems to be one of the people that people just love doing fan art for this guy. So the inspiration was when I first talked to Travis was he told me about Bishop Lucas, and that was the reason why I wanted to do the book. And so one of the things that I have done with him, and I don't know if any of these preview pages actually show it, but we've kind of shared this online and stuff. Well, you can kind of see it there with his mouth open on that cover. He said, I want him real skinny and kind of lanky, but like the way he moves is kind of unnatural. And so I had this idea about this big kind of weird smile where he purses, like tightens his lips over these like nasty gangly teeth, and Travis, like, I want him to wear like that white, like voodoo powder stuff, cause that's all part of like voodoo worship uses ashes, and Christian, on Ash Wednesday, we use ashes and things like that. And so I started really kind of getting into the idea of the character. And so it's totally different than anything I normally draw, by the way. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to, so I just kind of started looking at the idea of what this character might look like, and kind of came up with this almost Jack Skeleton, Willem Dafoe type villain, just the look of it. And so that was really kind of my inspiration, was thinking, how can I go dark? But the first few pages, he looks like a good guy. So I've got to I've got to make him bright and stuff. But it just, yeah. So that was my inspiration.
Your landscapes are really good too. Do you have a preference when it comes to what you draw? I mean, I know that as a creator, you're always striving to be better, do better, and expand your art. But do you have a preference? I'm kind of curious.
I do like to draw mountains. I think they're fun. I think making these little peaks and valleys and stuff in the mountains are really fun to do. Mm-hmm. I don't like drawing all those trees.
Here's a happy little tree.
but I do like drawing trees, which is weird. I actually do enjoy drawing trees. This is a cool page. This is page 5. Mm-hmm. And there's a good shot of that pursed smile, that real tight
and
smile.
And a really big jaw that,
he's got that unnatural looking, and I kind of draw that way a little bit anyway, but I just wanted to
like Ron Perlman.
A little bit, yeah. So I kind of mixed a couple of things in there, like what I might want him to look like.
I definitely see a Willem Dafoe, though.
Yes, there's definitely Willem Dafoe in there. I do like drawing trees, and so like this page was really particularly fun for me with drawing. I got to draw mountains and trees, and so that's what I like about doing the Brazil. Like right now, this is in Brazil, and so mountains and trees are everywhere. So I do get a chance to kind of draw those landscapes and things. I do like drawing buildings too, but they're a little more tedious. This is a backup story, and here's the artist. It's written by Sebastian F. I'm going to get it wrong. Picciano, something like that. And then Elias Melendez.
Italian, I think it's probably Piccione.
Yeah, probably. And then Carl Moline did the colors on this, and Ryan Shimmick did the flats. And so, as you can see, just look how cool this is.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's just this is just a preview of the backup story, and it's called A Day in the Park, or Saturday in the Park, or something like that. But it's pretty cool. All the pages are done. Like 3 pages need to be colored still, and then lettering is already finished, and so I've been able to read like the book all together finished. And I'm telling you, it is. I'm not just saying this because I'm part of the project, but it's good. I mean, this is good. All of the hiccups working on a book like this, all of this that you might run into, it's well worth it because it's such a good book.
Now, what are as far as tiers and things like that? Sorry, Matthew. Like
okay.
Stretch goals and things like that. What do you have?
All right. Well, all right. Hopefully, I won't give everybody a seizure moving back up to the top real fast. And woo, there we go. So we've already unlocked several stretch goals as it is. There's the digital stuff that we've gotten. So we've unlocked all kinds of digital books.
And they're not just your books.
No.
Travis's books. I see a lot of different titles in there.
Yeah. So Return to Sender is a really cool, like Western supernatural book that we've got, that we've made the acquaintance with. This guy, I actually did a variant cover for him. We've got the Advocator issues. Gods of Azurn is in there, and I think I'm saying that wrong. I'm saying it like a Hoosier. I can't help it. Mahoney's is a really cool book. It's actually drawn by our layout artist. So I work with a layout artist by the name of Brian Dawson. He does some cover work with me and stuff too. He draws very similar to me. And as I was kind of trying to develop my own style, like I would refer to some of the stuff that he would do. And that's when I started kind of getting that big, like Bulldog Chen and stuff going in there. But he does a great job with layouts, but his book is in there. And so you can see the similarities in our work. But still, different people altogether. But you can see that when you see his work, you'll see some of the similarities to it. We have the Voodoo Nations coaster that's already unlocked, and so everyone will get one of those. It's physical backer. We have the charm, which will be a nice little thing, a nice little addition to the. We're gonna have a new charm for every campaign, and we've got this cool sticker that's already been unlocked. So that was at $4,000. And then the ash can is at 5,000. So we're looking forward to getting that one out.
That's for stickers for some reason.
What's that?
And that
people go nuts for stickers.
And folks, in case you missed it, if you go over to Kickstarter, search up Voodoo Nations. He's only a handful of people away from hitting this stretch goal. And when he hits it, we hit the $5,000 mark. Then everyone's going to get an ash can copy or ash can issue of the Voodoo Nations as well. And then as you just saw, he just went through all the stretch goals that are already unlocked. And so as long as you do a physical copy, which he said is available for $12, that's with shipping anywhere in the US, then you're going to get a whole bunch of cool swag along with this. Plus, man, I'm all about good versus evil. A lot of my writing is Christian based. It is usually heaven versus hell in some way, shape, or form. And so this is right up my alley. And I know we've got a lot of listeners out there that love comic books. They love new things, and we love, supporting the indie artists, the indie creators. And so there's only a little bit of time left on this, everyone. So
it's
get
so
over
close. It is so close to we'll get back up there. It is, we have got 67 hours to go. 67 hours to knock in 17 more backers, 17 more backers, and to get what, $247.
It can be done.
It can be done.
It can blow past that too. So
I think it can, and I hope it does. I hope it blows right past that, and we can, really finish off strong. But yeah, that's where we're at. With that. Now we have a lot of really cool tiers, and I'll just go through some of these. I'll go back down here to the videos, not to the videos, but to the pictures that we have of them.
Well, you are more than welcome to play your video also.
Yeah, it's just a blog. It's kind of sitting here talking about it like this, so it's kind of long, and it's just as easy for me to sit and talk to you about it. Yeah. So there are a few different things that we've got. And we do ship everything out in Gemini mailers, and so you're going to get quality. The book's going to get to you safe, so you can rest assured that. So we've got the main cover that you saw. That was the one I was showing earlier with the Bishop Lucas holding the thing, the voodoo doll. Mm-hmm. Here's the variant cover that I drew. We have a day version and a night version of that. You saw the night version earlier, where we just couldn't decide if we liked it better in the day or the night. But really, we wanted to kind of show that here's Bishop Lucas on what is Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro. And he's giving it the voodoo anointment, basically, is what he's doing. You can see, like, he's just total disregard for the church and things like that. And so it kind of just captures that, like this dude, he's a punk. He's a bad dude.
Yeah.
And then we've got
a little insane.
Yeah, and a little insane. And then we've got the Stan Yak cover, which Stan did an amazing job on this cover. I've always wanted Stan's work attached somehow to what I was doing, and this was really cool to have this happen. Mm-hmm. And you could see he did I feel like he captured the character pretty well. But here, so this is the kind of the extra covers that we've got. And so a lot of the standard, and we'll have these other ones over here. But if you want these other like really rare covers, you're going to have to get the collector's kit. And so, but there's some neat things that happen with the collector's kit. So I'm just going to go ahead and move right along to those. Mm-hmm. Okay. You can get either the main cover, the day cover, or you can get the day night cover. Or you can get the triple pack with you get the regular, the day, the night cover, or you can do this one where you get all 4 of those covers. But then there's the collector's tier, okay, where you get all 4 covers, but you also get a version cover of the Stan Yak cover, and you get a sketch cover. In that pack, also you get the stay at home, the home con cover that we did with Bishop Lucas in the chair. That's the same image that you see on the coaster, and so that is available in there, as well as it throws in the Voodoo Nation connecting cover with Mojo Rising goes in there right away. And so all of the extra covers all go into the collector's kit. When you get a sticker, you get a trading card, you get a mini poster. And then really the other one, if you bump up to this one, you get all of that stuff. Plus on the sketch cover, I will actually draw Bishop Lucas. I'll do a headshot of Bishop Lucas for you. So one of my favorite things to do is draw him. And so I get to I'll draw his face and sign it, which is, I don't think people understand how rare that is. I rarely do sketch covers, if ever at all. And I rarely draw pencil to paper anymore because I've been digital, like almost strictly digital for years now. And so the fact that I will drive down to Melbourne to get these books, and I will hand draw these before they get shipped out. And so that's a huge deal. So that is happening with that one. And then we've got, something else we're going to talk about later is hybrids. We've got the TERRAFORM branded comics that are going to be available for there. If you don't want all of that other stuff, but you do want the copy of Voodoo Nations and you want to find out more about the hybrids books that I'm doing and learn more about my hybrids story, then you can get that as one pack. And then Travis also has a pack where you can get the copy of Voodoo Nations, and then you get his broke down and his parallels. But let's say you wanted to get caught up on everybody's stuff, right? Well, let's go ahead and get the day-night cover variants, and then you get all of Travis's stuff and you get all of my stuff. And that right there is a heck of a value. $65 for what, 12 books? That's
a huge deal.
Free shipping to the US.
Free shipping and 12 books.
Yes. That's 25 here, 25 here. All right. So that would be $50. And we already said that these were $15 variants. So that's $30. So you're saving money. You're saving money. You're saving like $5 to do that. And no shipping. Mm-hmm. So there's that. And then we have some retail packages where if you're a retailer, we have special deals for you where you can buy a little retail package. So those are going on right now.
Anybody who's listening, if you're a comic book store owner, you might want to pop in and take a look at this too. So I love the artwork. I love the idea of the story. I love a good bad guy. So I mean, there's just a lot for me to love here.
The thing is, I rarely talk about the protagonist in the book, which they're really cool characters as it is, but I always feel like the villain makes the story too. So
yeah,
trust me, you guys would not be disappointed.
Like, who is Luke Skywalker without the Darth Vader?
Yeah, you gotta have Darth Vader. I mean, who cared about Star Wars except for the fact there was Darth Vader in there? Right. And that's really the thing. Now, I remember watching Suicide Squad and being very disappointed that, with the Joker and like lack of the story there or lack of development for the character. You are not going to be disappointed in this story. I guarantee you are going to want to know more and more and more about this guy, Bishop Lucas. And we will give you more and more about him, as well as some other witch doctors or voodoo doctors that are in different areas of the world. So this is 4 issues. That's going to be a total of 4 issues. And it goes, it starts in Brazil. The next one we're going is to tip my tongue. It's here in America. Why did I forget that? Meredith, why did I forget that?
Louisiana.
They go to Louisiana. Yes. Of course they go to Louisiana. They're on Bourbon Street, baby. And so we go there, and then we go to Mexico next, and I think we make our way back. I'm not sure. Travis has this whole thing plotted out, and I've read it. But I think we go back to Brazil, yeah, and end out the story there. So it's going to be really cool. Yeah.
Well, we're going to take another quick break, and when we get back, let's talk about hybrids.
Sure.
All right, hold on.
This is the legend of the traveling TARDIS. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Also catch us on the HWWS Web TV YouTube channel. Subscribe today and become part of the legend.
Go Christian.
Yeah, big love to Christian Basil. He's hitting milestones all over the place with Legend of the Traveling TARDIS radio show and Facebook. So definitely follow him too. And what I'm going to be doing also is, Luke, while you are talking about hybrids, I'm going to be sharing out some of your social media links so that people know where to follow you.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.
Put him on the big screen, Meredith.
So hybrids, yeah. You can see some of the pictures behind me. This was, again, I started talking about this probably 10 years ago with a friend of mine. Maybe not that long ago, but pretty close. You know, time flies when you're having fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think in my head, I'm still in my mid-20s, but I'm clearly 40. As I sit here and I'm like, oh, that's popping and that's cracking. I'm sitting in my chair. You know, clearly 40 today. Feeling very much.
Get closer to 50.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear your junk.
I'm feeling every inch of 40 this morning, maybe older. I'm not sure. So anyway, it's just been a while. Okay. I'm not real good with the timeline there, but for a while back, we started talking about, well, you know what? This one has a cool video. Can I just play the video?
Certainly.
I'll play a part of the video for you guys.
Well, we're not getting the audio.
Oh, you're not? You don't hear that?
Nuh-uh.
How do I fix that?
Maybe turn it on external and it'll come through your mic, maybe? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
I know we had this problem before with share screen with somebody, and I don't remember how the heck we fixed it. It's a glitch.
It's a glitch in the matrix. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to do.
Meredith, you're on mute. I see you laughing over there.
Yeah, I was laughing at Brian's.
Yeah.
Brian's comment. Get off my lawn. Well, let me see if I can.
Maybe you can pull it up.
Yeah.
It's here. I'll throw you a. I will throw you a link to the video.
Yeah.
I've got.
I might have to play with my.
It's in my YouTube. Oh, yeah. If you go to my YouTube channel, I think you're. It's up there. I'll go back to that so it's not so. Yeah.
Let me
Now,
see
Luke,
if
when is while Meredith is looking that up or trying to get that set pulled up, when is the next book planned for Voodoo Nation?
We will start drawing that one probably a couple weeks. And we'll plan on releasing that by the end of the year, I think is the plan. Cool. Just, hopefully.
And then the other two following next year, 6 months apart or so.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the timeline is going to be on that one yet, but yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's what we're looking at. So yeah, as she's pulling that, like looking for that video and trying to pull that up, I'll just kind of give a little just kind of an idea about where this came from. So I had this pastor friend of mine, and we would talk, and he was kind of like a mentor guy, but we would often talk about some of the weirdest things, like, all these conspiracy theories and all where the ancient aliens and all that kind of stuff, and talk about how there's like runways under the water, and Columbus talked about on his voyage over how there was this craft that came up and flickered beside the beside his ship and stuff like that. And then we started talking about the Nephilim and all of those kind of those things and how that connected in the Book of Enoch. And there's there's all these other major religions that had a very similar story, and that the Nephilim stories, the Nephilim predate the Greek gods by about 1,500 years, and how there's a bunch of scholars that actually believe all of the Nephilim are just like they're inspirations for the Greek gods. So like all these stories of the Greek gods, it's just an exaggeration of a real life Nephilim, and
Gotcha.
so we started working in like kind of those things and started saying, well, what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And so that became kind of the basis and the core of what the story was. And so that's why I thought, no one was going to really dig this story very much, except for if you were just kind of some weird geek like me.
Right.
Like I like history. I like watching, that guy with the big hair, the aliens,
Ancient
guy,
aliens. Yes.
Yeah, that guy. I love watching that stuff, man. I'll sit and watch it for hours.
I still don't understand though how he can get up in the morning, look in the mirror, and go, "Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good to go. We're all set."
But Luke, you and I would really like to get you on one of my shows of Geeky, Cheeky, and Downright Freaky, because we discuss a lot of those same kind of things. And there is a certain aspect that I would love to pick your brain on as far as religion goes. It's one of our most watched episodes on the YouTube channel regarding the Bible. And I've been saying I'd like to get a man of the cloth on, because I am Christian, and I grew up a Baptist. I consider myself Christian. But there's some weird shit that goes on in this world, and I'd love to have you on and discuss some of this sometime soon.
And you name the time and the place, and I am there, my friend. That's right up my alley. I love talking about that stuff. And so basically, there's not a lot of people in the world that like talking about those things the way that I do. At least in my circle. When I start going like, you can't be sitting around the Bible studies like, well, this says this in the book of Enoch. This is going on over here. Let me tell you about the scapegoat and Azazel and how, Lucifer was doing this, like all of like this other angel lore stuff, no one's really into all that, but you know what I can do? I can squeeze it into my comic, and that's exactly what I've done. And it's turned out that a lot of people love this stuff. And I've had one person that bought the book just so that they can try to tell me I was doing it wrong, and they never told me like I was doing it wrong. So I think I'm really like giving a real solid kind of interpretation with fiction melded in to what some of these old texts and stuff says. I did a lot of research on it. I read so much stuff, and one of our main villains that you find out here is Azazel, who is turns out that he was one of a group of angels that came that was originally brought down sent to earth to protect mankind, called the Watchers. Right. And so it was actually it's in some of the readings that it was actually said it was him who convinced these Watchers to go have babies with these ladies. And so he was the one that actually instigated the whole thing. And it turns out that a lot of like our modern day like depictions on who Satan is now, the term "the Satan," that's actually just a title. It's not. It's a so it's not really a person. But Lucifer, being the great deceiver, little scummy guy that he is, So we know the story of Lucifer from our Christian Bible. Most people have heard it, but right. Most people haven't heard about his brother Azazel, like this other demon that fell, that was part of the fall. A lot of what Azazel does is contributed to Lucifer, and so that becomes a point of contention in a future arc of hybrids. Like it really, we start to bring some of that stuff out, and so all of that, like kind of studying all that kind of stuff, we really talk about that. I see Travis is in the chats right now. Travis, we just got done talking about Voodoo Nations and how you can go there. We're 17 backers away from 250 backers, and we are, what did I say, 247?
Yeah, it's 347. You're at
347.
Yeah,
yeah, my bad.
Hey, you're a comic book artist, not a mathematician.
Exactly. So we're $347 away from really hitting that $5,000 mark where you get the new ash can. And yes, I knew the answer to what an ash can was and where it came from. So that's really cool.
And folks, in case you're tuning in late, you can get that over on Kickstarter. Just look up Voodoo Nations. There's only about 68 hours left. He's already opened up a lot of the stretch goals, and just for $12, that's including shipping, you can get a physical copy of Voodoo Nations #1. He said #2 is expected out by the end of the year, with 2 more coming sometime down the road. But it's a great looking book. And like I said, this is definitely down my road or in my wheelhouse, because I love these kind of stories, especially when they're unique. Like you said, it's not the lame Christian story. You've actually done some research on the voodoo side of things, and on hybrids, you've done the Christianity side. And of course, you've got that background. I'm 51 years old now, and theology was the area of study that I wanted to go into, just simply because I wanted to learn all nations or all religions, because I figured that the answer is probably somewhere in the middle somewhere. Because there's so many correlations between religions, it's just fascinating, and there's just too much documentation for anybody, in my opinion, to be able to brush religion off. Meredith is asking for the Indiegogo link.
Oh, well, the video's on YouTube, because the Indiegogo link, actually, you can actually go there. Okay, so it's https://igg.me/@/hybrids TPB.
Like she got all that.
I'm sure she didn't. I'll put it in the private chat.
Yeah, put it in the private chat.
I'll stick that in the private chat. But for all of our listeners, go ahead and recite that back. Extra credit if you can remember all of that.
That was person, woman, man. Oh, wait, never mind. That was somebody else. Oh, crap. My battery's dying here.
Yeah. So there you go, Meredith. That'll get you the link to the sign-up page. But yeah, so Travis really did his homework on the Voodoo Nations thing, and really did a lot of insight like that. He's the writer on that one. I got to give all credit to him on really making that happen. He did a great job with that, and really challenged me with some of the art stuff. I wanted to make sure that I was really capturing the people and the diversity of the group of people that we were going to be encountering, and so which is I think we did.
Yeah, it's a beautiful looking book from what I can see on the Kickstarter. And like I said, the storyline grabs me. And, folks, in this day and age right now, a lot of the big name comics are having issues. DC, I forget why it was trending the other day, but they are having issues. And with the pandemic still ongoing, we don't know when our mainstream comics are going to be back. And these guys, when you're getting in on these Kickstarters and these Indiegogos, you got to realize there's a hell of a lot of talent behind them, but there's also a lot of work that goes into this. This isn't folks that just decided, hey, I'm going to take advantage and I'm going to throw together a comic book. He already showed he's shipping them out in style, so they're going to get to you in, great shape. They're not going to be folded up and bent unless your mailman's a dick like mine and will fold the shit anyway. But, these kind of projects are really what we love here at Geek Insider. We love the indies because we really think that, the indies are the ones that are the entertainers of today and tomorrow, because that I really and truly believe that indie comics, and I've been into them since the 90s, but I think the time is here and now. And when you start seeing a lot of these projects that are fully funded and being able to hit these stretch goals, I think the consumers are saying the same thing, that they want these types of books.
Yeah, I agree totally. In fact, the thing that's going on at DC is they just fired a whole bunch of their staff. And so I
saw them trending and people talking about which books were their favorites or which characters on Twitter. But, I couldn't get through the hashtag enough to figure out what the hell had happened over there.
Yeah, they are doing kind of a big house cleaning thing. And it's really sad because, there's some really great creators and people that work over there that are going to be affected by that. But, there are some people that made some poor choices for the company and, probably need to answer for it a bit, I guess. But
right. Mark V said that the last time that he bought something from the big two was last century. So it's been over 20 years.
That's been a minute. That has been a minute. We're just going to refresh that page. We're going to see if we've gotten any backers yet. This is what I do like the last 2 days of the of the campaign. We're still 67 hours, still at 233 backers.
Well, we'll get there because I know I'm going to go and back it. I tried to do it while we were sitting here, but I couldn't remember my Kickstarter information, and I didn't want to have to stop and put in my credit card again right now. But so because I'm getting me a copy of it, definitely. And I don't back every project that comes across our desk or that we interview. I'm only going to, I'm going to be honest, and I'm only going to get stuff that actually interests me. I'm not going to get it just to get it. And this is definitely one that interests me. I love the artwork. I love the storyline. And you really, Luke, I mean, you're a busy man. I know you're a full-time pastor, but you've got some great looking projects that are
Appreciate
have
that.
just wrapped up. And then of course, what you've got planned. How are you juggling everything right now with the pandemic and working with your congregation as well as all of these projects on the side?
Well, the pandemic has given me a little extra time, but kind of through it, I realized like what was important, what wasn't important. And so I've been able to focus more on just really kind of getting in and teaching people. Because right now we're not able to go out and do the outreach stuff that we used to the way that we did. And we're not able to do events the way that we did. So we're doing a lot of more like just kind of one-to-one or like a small group, less than 5 kind of groups where we're really getting into, teaching and doing scripture and stuff like that. And so it has given me actually a little more time to, without filling up all that other stuff, like the stuff we thought was important that isn't really important, we've been able to kind of pull that over and I've had time to do this. But I also work with a lot of creative people and a lot of really talented people. So I hire someone out to do all my layout stuff, which is probably the longest, most tedious part of, because I'll sit and think on that stuff for hours without being able to make a decision. So I hire a lot of that stuff out so that I can just focus on the pencils and the inks. And I'm getting to the point where I'm looking for inkers to start inking my stuff so that I can do all of that and still run, start a business, start a publishing company while still doing all these other things. And it's really a lot about time management, but that's how I do it.
Gotcha. Very cool. Now, is this Meredith that's got this loaded up?
Yeah, she's got that up there.
I've got a couple of screens going here. So
Yeah, you do.
I just don't want to hear an echo.
She's out of the office.
Yeah. So I'm going to hit this and let's see how this works.
Yeah.
Several major religions across the globe recount a similar story about angels or sons of God who take mortal brides. These unholy unions produce a creature known as the Nephilim. Stories of the Nephilim predate the first known writings of the Greek gods by nearly 1,500 years. Many experts believe that the tales found in Greek mythology are actually just exaggerations of the real-life Nephilim. With so much of history pointing to the reality of this event, what if the Nephilim really existed? Our modern knowledge of DNA tells us that it is possible to pass down a fraction of that angelic DNA to their offspring, and that it is possible for people today to be walking around with this hybrid DNA. So, what if something happened to awaken that dormant trait? Unlike other dormant traits that may give you red hair or blue eyes, this trait, if awoken, may give you the power to lift buildings, or teleport, or even control things with your mind. In hybrids, the sons of gods, that is exactly what happens. Seemingly out of nowhere, people begin developing godlike abilities. However, they vanish soon after they develop these powers. It takes a small band of intrepid heroes with a very personal connection to these events to unearth who is taking these people, why they are being taken, and where they are being kept. In Hybrids, the Sons of God's Volume 1 Trash Day, we discover the answer to these 3 questions. We also have a special look at what happens just beyond the main arc of Trash Day in the expansion story Seraphina number 0. This added content explores one of the rescued characters from Part 5 of Trash Day and gives us a deeper look into what it is like dealing with trauma from the inside. This volume also includes an exclusive 4-page post-credits scene that gives more depth to some of our characters and begins to establish a new order for our universe in the next arc. We have also included several pages of additional creator notes and art for fans of the Hybrid universe. Jump into the action today to support this special volume of Hybrids, the Sons of Gods, and find out what everyone is talking about.
Hey, thanks for sticking around. My name's Luke Stone. I'm the writer and artist behind Hybrids. First, I want to give a heartfelt thank you to everyone who has supported this project over the years and who has been along the journey with me. And I also just want to say, for all those who are brand new, I'm really excited that you decided to step in and take a look at Hybrids. What you'll find in this particular issue of this story right here, we've got the complete first arc, all packaged up in a nice trade paperback. We've got a few extra stories and things that are in there as well that you'll be able to enjoy. And what I really hope that you find is that you can follow my journey of progress from the beginning of Hybrids to kind of where it is today. You see, the very first time that I really ever wrote a script was Hybrids 1. And the first time I really did any kind of digital art was with Hybrids 1 and some of the concept art for that. And so you're going to see some of those things, and I'm going to go over some of those things in the pages of this trade paperback. But hopefully you will enjoy the journey of this story as I grew not only as a writer and an artist, but also as an individual in my in my own life in all aspects, because it definitely was a journey, and some of those things found their way into the pages of this story. So I'm very happy that you have taken the time to take a look at this campaign and to check out this book. Please feel free to ask any questions in the comments, and I will be more than happy to share all of the information that I possibly can. There are many ways to be able to back and to get involved with this, and so I do encourage you to check it out. I think that you're going to like this book. From all those who have backed it in the past and have supported it, to all those that are out there right now, and maybe you're looking at this for the first time, I really believe in the story. I believe in the characters and the content, and I really think that this story will speak to you in some way. I've tried to put a little piece of myself in all of it, and I've tried to put a little piece of all the people that I've been able to meet along my own personal journey in it as well, so that there's something there for everybody to connect with. Thank you again for making it to the end of this video, and I look forward to not only just being able to give you the story, but also to meet you one day, hopefully in person, or at least through some kind of contact where we can share kind of our love for comics and our love for movies. Have a great day, and God bless you.
Very cool.
You noticed that voice at the beginning?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you who did your voiceover.
I did.
Did you
That
really?
was me. Yeah. I was like, I wanted to hire this dude that had this really cool deep voice to do the voiceover, but he was going to be like almost $100. And I was like, oh, I'm broke. So I opened up GarageBand and like did like the voice changer thing and everything. And I was like, when I was done with it, I was like, that's pretty good. Kind of like that.
Well, it's like Meredith's voice at the beginning of our intro and outro. You know, she sounded like she sucked on a bunch of helium, but it works just perfect for Geek Speak.
I sped it up a little bit because I've been doing a lot of these intro outros, and it was like, it's not about me, you know. So yeah.
Well, Luke, tell everybody where they can find you, how they can follow you, how they can stay up to date on what Mr. Luke Stone has going on.
Well, there's a couple ways. You can go to lukestonestudios.com and you can find all my social media. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, on Facebook. So you can find those. And I'm also on YouTube. So you can also find all that kind of stuff there. Or you can go to TerraFormComics.com. You can sign up for the mailing list. So I've got a mailing list. They've got a mailing list. We've all got mailing lists. Sign up for all of them that you want to. If you sign up for mine, you'll get mostly updates on me. if you sign up for the Terraform mailing list, you'll get updates on everything that's going on with Terraform, which will include things from me. So you'll get things about me and then some additional things that we're doing as a company and as a group. And so I encourage you to sign up for that one. If you're only going to sign up for one, sign up for that one. And then you can, if you're interested in following this Indiegogo, which actually launches in just under a week. So next Tuesday at 5 p.m., we're going to be launching this campaign, and you can actually get updates for that one over at, if you go to the igg.me/@/hybrids TPB, trade paperback TPB, you can sign up for that mailing list. And if you do that mailing list, what happens is you actually get access to a secret perk that only the mailing list is going to get. And so basically what it is, I've got a $50 collector's pack for cover A. Okay, so I've got 3 different cover options. I've got the standard cover, I've got a holofoil cover, and I've got an exclusive cover by a guy named, an amazing artist that I've been a fan of for years, named Kanan White, who's doing an exclusive cover for me for this. And so those 3 covers, and they go up in price for each one. But the standard cover with the collector's kit, which has all the collector's items and stuff with it, and then we have a super collector's pack, but like just the standard collector's pack, it's $50 for that. But here's what you get with the early access one. You get to pick, you get the collector's pack for the $50, but you get to choose the cover that you want.
Oh, nice.
And you get free US shipping. So it's a super great value. And I just wanted to like kind of pass that on to people that might be interested in it. And that launches. So I'm going to be pushing hard for the next 60 some hours to get Voodoo Nations finished up. And then I get a small breather, and then I go into pushing the Indiegogo for the next 42 days. So that'll be 42 days of that. And then fulfillment for both is going to be yay.
Well, make sure that next Tuesday or Monday, send us over a press release for Hybrids. Even just a couple of paragraphs with a link over to the Indiegogo, and we'll get that posted out to remind everybody that that's live on Tuesday.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually going to probably fall on my desk. So thanks for volunteering me, guys. Both of you. Both of you.
Of course.
I could write my own press release, Meredith.
And I'll post it when he sends it over.
All right. Woo, a day off.
Luke, we always ask all of our guests one question, and
Sure.
So we got to fire it your way. And that is, if you could go back in time and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Simple. Keep focus on drawing comics. Don't go chasing all that guitar and singing stuff. Focus on, although that guitar and singing stuff helped me meet my wife. I would say along with that, just draw more. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, folks, one more time, you got about 68 hours to get in on the Kickstarter, for Voodoo Nations. He's just a handful of people away from hitting that 250 mark, and just a few bucks away from hitting 5,000. And once that happens, you're already going to get, if you do a physical backing, you're already going to get some cool swag that has been unlocked on the stretch goals, but you're also going to get an Ashcan copy if he hits that 5,000 mark. And so make sure you get over there, help back this kick-ass looking project. It definitely doesn't look like one that you'll be disappointed in. And Luke, one more time, tell them where they can find you and say goodbye.
You can find me at lukestonestudios.com. You'll find all of my social media stuff there. If you really, 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 really need to, you can just Google me on Google Luke Stone Studios on that old Google site, and I'm in there a few places. You can also find me at terraformcomics.com. Sign up there. And that's really basically where you can find me. And be sure to go, and even $1 helps. Like, even if hey, I can't really afford any money, but maybe I could just pop $1 on there. Even if you went in there and you popped $1 to get us up to that 250 mark, I'd appreciate it very much.
Definitely.
And then definitely go over and sign up for that pre-release mailing list for the Indiegogo. That would definitely help me out a lot too. Appreciate it very, very much.
Yeah, and what I've done is I'm sharing out the link to the Kickstarter. I've shared out the link to your Indiegogo for when that launches so people can put it on their watch list. And I think that's it. I mean, we could probably talk for hours,
Right.
but we're going to let you go because if you're talking to us, you're not drawing.
Right.
That is true. And I have covers to do and ash cans to draw. And yeah.
Well, it's been a great pleasure meeting you, Luke. And like I said, I want to get you on Geeky, Cheeky, and Downright Freaky. Shoot me an email so I have direct contact with you. It's just Matthew at Geek Insider. And
Sure.
let's get together because I'd love to have a show with you.
Absolutely.
Yep, and,
I'll do that today.
Yeah, let's end the broadcast here, and let's talk in the green room. So,
yep, sounds good.
On that note, here, thank you everybody for tuning in to Geek Speak with Luke Stone, our special guest. Matthew Harris and I are out. We're just going to play a little ad and our outro, and then we're out of here. Have a wonderful day, guys. Be safe. For Geek Insider advertising opportunities, contact advertising@geekinsider.com. We offer space on the website, in the daily newsletter, sponsored posts, and advertising space on our podcasts. For details, contact advertising@geekinsider.com. That's advertising@geekinsider.com.
You've been tuning in to Geek Speak with Matthew Harris and Meredith Lochran, a Geek Insider presentation. Subscribe to the Geek Insider podcast on your favorite listening app and sign up for the newsletter on our website. We also have advertising opportunities through the website, podcast, and newsletter. For details, contact advertising@geekinsider.com. This has been a Geek Insider production. Thank you for listening. Geek out.